Huh? You got the Dusty Cup later? Kick ass, man. Somebody hit my music.
Let's get to the money.
Let's get to the
money.
Let's get to the
money. Let's get to the motherfucking money.
Fuck the bookies, fuck the bookies. FTV screaming fuck the bookies, 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 fuck the bookies. FTV screaming fuck the bookies, fuck the bookies, fuck the bookies. Middle finger in the ass screaming fuck the bookies. Woke up in the morning, grab my little black book. Yesterday can eat a dick, cause we lost by the hook. Can't win them all, so you never see me get shook. Today's a new day, the bookmaker's getting cooked. When I spot a dirty keg of 4 units getting played, always find the value, I would never be afraid. Scary money don't win, but I'm not going all in unless I see a bet I love, then I put my balls on a bookie's chin. Let it all soak in, doubling my bread, winning money with my friends. If you got the itch and you wanna go big, follow Sharpie bets and you gon' really fucking win. This is not financial advice, it's entertainment. But if I find the right price, believe I'm parlaying it. You can see my spreadsheet, I'm winning, not just saying it. Profit in the green every week, I'm never negative. I can bet an ace or a shitty old picture. Pick the right spots cause I'm the K-Prop whisperer. Shut up when I speak until you finally get the picture. I'm the best in the world, tell me you getting richer. Fuck the bookies, fuck the bookies. FTV screaming fuck the bookies, 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 fuck the bookies. FTV screaming fuck the bookies, fuck the bookies, fuck the bookies. Middle finger in the ass screaming fuck the bookies.
Let's get to the motherfucking monies.
And here we go.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Balking Dead, fellas, where there is no sleep for the wicked. It is Friday, and we're having us a monster week. And now we cap it off with my favorite person to talk K-props with, and that's Spin Doc Sports. How you doing, my guy?
I am doing good. It has been a great little run for me ever since I actually last week, right around this showtime, I actually changed a couple things in my math and my capping. And for those that know me, I'm always tinkering with stuff, even when you hit at the rates that we do, because you can always do better. And as I've always said, the only percentage of hits that I'd be comfortable with, or that I would find acceptable, is 100. Haven't hit it 100% this week, but it's been awful close. So ready to give out some public plays today, and share the wealth. For those that follow me on Twitter, reason why I haven't had a public like a tout play in a little while was I was perfecting the new math. So I've been trying it with VIP. I've been trying to sending Sharpie info, and have also been sharing it with a couple of capper groups that I'm in, for those of you that are in there with me. And I think it's ready for the public tonight. I think we're ready. So let's go.
And I mean, it's been a lot more funner talking these K-props now that I'm a fucking underbetter, bro. I love it, bro. Like it's been at a crazy rate, bro. I mean, I'm still mad at myself on a few of them, but I'm making my rules, as we go along. I don't have my rules, and we're gonna get to a rule today, guys, on a guy that I'm not gonna go over on. But you sure as fuck ain't catching me betting Spencer Strider under, bro. I'll tell you that. So let's get into it, guys. This show is sponsored by Dubby, a clean energy powder with no come down to your day. And by scanning that QR code on screen, you're going to get 10% off your first order by using the best promo code on God's green earth. And that is Pub Sports. If you haven't already, do me a favor and smash that like button. Make sure you do have them notification bells on. And make sure you do put your best bet in the chat and hashtag we be pubbing in it. And at the end of the show, I will go through all the chat or even questions, guys. If you got one, put them in there. And we will get to it if time willing. On the show, we will talk the first line opened up on a K-prop. Also, the best line available 30 minutes prior to the show. Then we will see where the value lies between the books and PrizePicks. Of course, this show is also sponsored by PrizePicks. So if you haven't, go on over there and use that promo code PUBSPORTS and get a match deposit on your first deposit up to 100, minimum of 25. Before we get into the first guy, guys, real quick, with that lineup today for Tyreek Skubal, I had to do a complete 180 and just stay off. I leaned the over when I did want to bet the under, but there's no way I'm betting an over versus a no-fly zone. But this lineup is not the lineup they had out even yesterday, and just couldn't get there. So there you go for those who did want to know. You want to touch on Skubal real quick before we get in?
Yeah, we talked about it before the show. Sharpie knows that I'm not a huge fan of betting either side of a K prop in a double header. Inconsistent usage lineups. You don't know how they're going to organize the bullpen for both games. I'm a big guy that if there's risk factors that I can't predict with any reasonable accuracy or don't think I have enough control over, I'll usually just pass. It may have cost me some money over the months, but overall, I'm okay with it. If you gave me a free play on this one, I would play the over, but it's not something I'm actively looking to bet. You have every major league team in action tonight. There's plenty of other things to bet on.
Yeah, actually, you sent me the list today, and I was like, I was going to cross off this first guy, and I was like, yeah, as soon as I woke up, because I slept in, bro. It was nice, bro. I woke up, bro. We got a hurricane coming, I guess, out here, bro. Everyone's texting me. I'm like, what's the big deal, bro? They're like, bro, we haven't lived through a hurricane in San Diego, bro. I'm like, oh, I don't fucking know. I've either been in a prison cell or in my house. So this was a guy I wasn't looking to talk today, but I'm glad you said this guy because I think I found the way to finally bet this guy.
All right.
And this has been an anomaly to me, and that's Jose Berrios at the Reds. Number 50 in the black book, striking people out 22.5% of the time while walking people 7% of the time. Morning line was 6+ -144 on FanDuel, where the best line available to that 5.5 is now -132 on FanDuel. PrizePicks has him at a flat 6, and his pitching outs on PrizePicks are over 17.5. Projected lineup today is 5 righties, 4 lefties. Let's talk Jose.
All right. So Mr. Berrios, when I look at his line for today, I see a few, or when I look at his line and his metrics, I see a few things. So on the road has not been as effective as he has been at home. So 22.6% K percentage for the year, 20.9% on the road, specifically bad against righties at 17.6, of which the Reds are projected to run 4. I actually didn't see if their actual lineup got released right before we came on. I know about an hour ago it was not yet. But when you look at the Reds swing metrics too, overall, all average here. The only thing that they do go up a little bit on is first strike percentage. And part of that is because they swing at the first pitch much higher than league average. Berrios' first strike percentage, 62.3. That's pretty normal. That's what you'd expect for a guy of his stature in the league. But, when I look at this one, I see that the 6.5 is what they opened at. And it opened at 6.5 plus 120 over, minus 160 under. And on the surface, that looks like that's just a little bit too high for me. On the road for a guy like Berrios, I'm still sticking to that. The plus money would be nice, but the way that it's juiced for pitchers on the road, I've seen this movie a number of times, and usually when they line it like that, it's because they think that he's going to get 6 exactly. Chance he could get 7, and probably not a whole lot of other outcomes in between there. So, if you're feeling frisky, I guess take a shot on the plus 6.5. Sharpie, if you got another way to bet him, I'd love to hear it. All the rest of his earn runs, hits, and walks props are pretty standard. But this one just says to me like the books think that he's going to land on 6 exactly.
I'm gonna do my breakdown, bro. This is where we do not talk together before this show on Fridays. Every other day we'll call each other maybe in the morning or something, or when we have a bet we're putting in, we'll send it to them and tell each other what we're on. Or if we can't figure something out, we'll still call, but not on this days. We don't do that type of shit, guys. So I'm gonna say, when me and him have talked about this, we wish we can bet the exact strikeouts. Like, give me plus money to pick the exact number they're going to land on. And I'm going to tell you, the books are saying they're going to land on 6-2 in a whole different way, bro. And
6 exactly.
It's weird, bro. It's 6 exactly is what the books are telling me. Now, this is a spot like I really didn't even want to get into, but we needed 6 guys to talk today. And it's not because it's not a good spot by the K percentage. It's just Berrios has been one of those anomalies for me this year. as it's hard for me to just pin one thing he needs to hit an over, as he has his best days in random spots, as he has good games versus teams who whiff, and then ass games as well, and so for teams that chase. But it seems to me out the division chase percentage was the way to go, guys, until I looked at out the division chase contact percentage. And that's when this dude fucking had 6 or more in multiple opportunities. When facing a team, guys, top 10 at not making contact when they chase, he has had 9 and 6 versus the 2 games versus the White Sox, 8 versus the Oakland A's, and 5 was the only time he wouldn't have hit this 6, and that was versus the Twins, as well as 6 versus the Angels and 7 versus the Pirates. Now, if we go into the division, guys, he did have 8 versus the Rays as well. As the Orioles, they don't fall under the contact percentage, but they do fall under chase percentage. So I think, and I found the damn way fucking after 21 damn games, that I just need a team, guys, and preferably a lineup that doesn't make contact when they chase. That is when this dude has hit 6 or more, and that's in 6 different opportunities with only losing 1 damn game. So if I was to set this line, it would come out at 5.5 at -110, and then the tax would be added on by the books as they see fit, and they see the strikeout percentage everybody else sees. So we get tax, except FanDuel's the only book offering that 5.5. where everywhere else is plus money to the 6.5. And let me talk to you. The last 4 times in the last 2 weeks, the guy that lands dead in the middle of those 2 has been on FanDuel, where they were the only one offering that number, and everyone else was at another number. It landed dead on in the middle every fucking time. So that's where I get to. This dude's landed on fucking 6 today. Because FanDuel's the only one who wants to give a 5.5, and the rest of the motherland has 6.5. So it's just been falling dead in the middle when I've seen this shit. So and maybe a time to alt him down, guys, if you do want to play him. But even like my guy Spin, he's doing the same thing as me. We done stop doing these alt parlays.
Nope, no more of those.
No. Why? So one guy could shine and the other guy shit the bed? Why do I want to alt the guy who they have dead on 6? I want to no.
And furthermore, whether you're on FanDuel, DK Bovada, it doesn't matter. When you look at how he's lined after everything we said about how the most likely outcome is it comes in on 6, you're paying heavy juice for an over 5.5 or an under 6.5. Why would you do that when you don't have to? When there's, again, every major league team is going today, so damn near every pitcher has a K prop today. And why would you want to mess around with paying -140 or worse when you don't have to? I have no problem in certain spots paying -140, -145 juice, but it has to be in a much better spot than this one.
Man, my boy Sam Comer's up in the chat today, guys, and I don't follow many tennis cappers, guys. I follow this one and retweet his stuff out because he's transparent. He's honest as can be, bro. He gives out all his shit for free, and he tracks his bets. And tracking your bets is the most fucking thing I care about at the end of the day, whether you win or lose. Shout out to Mike M too. That dude has like 5 different plays and 2 of them are losing, and he tracks it as a losing one. Like, this is not about fooling people here, guys. We're not here to sell you donkey dick and tickets. He's given us Manarino plus money first set, and I'm actually on the books going right now to go bet it, bro. Like, fuck, bro. Like, I'm gonna get in on some old Manarino versus the Zevi. And yeah, let's get in on that. Oh, it's plus 225 on Bovada. I like that. But before I do that, I can get into the next guy so I don't bother you guys about my tennis bet.
Sorry, one last thing about Berrios, or even just in general. So, if you're betting a -160, you need to, just to break even, you need to win 62% or better of the time, just to break even. So if you're going to bet those high juice ones to actually significantly profit more than just a few dollars, you probably need to win 65% plus. And I will tell you that there's very, very few people in the sports betting, in the capper world that can hit, doesn't matter what you're playing at what odds, that can hit consistently, like week after week, day after day at 66% plus. That's really, really hard to do. Sharpie and I hit around 60, and that's high for our industry.
Need to start only betting unders though, bro. I'm telling you, I've lost 3 unders, but I can't say I bet more than 20 unders in my whole life. So
I bet a few more than that.
you may have bet that less than like 2 weeks or maybe even a week, bro. But yeah, definitely. I have came around to the dark side. It's helped me with my overcapping. Crazy to say, like I can see both sides. I'll stay off. If I see an under, then why am I not going to bet it? Like we were both on Gallon's under yesterday. Like why am I going to sit there knowing Zach Gallen is not going to hit this and not bet it?
Easy money.
I'm tired, bro.
Money.
It was easy even after they brought him out again, and I knew Cronenworth was a lefty, and I'm like, oh, one batter. You couldn't get it anyways if you struck them all out, you bet.
Gallen was never hitting 6 strikeouts last night. Never.
Hey, and one on Machado was a strikeout, and that dude was crying like a pansy, like it was.
I don't know what he was bitching about. It was a
great pitch, bro. It was just fuck, bro. Sorry. The umpire was actually really good in that game.
I was just gonna say the comment that Nick had. Bet 365 has it. That's worth a small sprinkle, I think.
What? I don't have the chat up. What is it?
Oh. Bet 365 has Berrios 6Ks exactly at plus 650.
Hey, bro, yeah, sprinkle it. You know what's the harm, bro? What's $10, bro? $60, dog. Yeah,
a quarter of a unit. Yeah, why not?
Oh yeah, let's get it. Excuse me.
All right.
Next guy up, guys, is one of the new rules I put on my unders, and that's not betting this guy under unless, well, I guess that would be not a rule then. I found the 4 times that he has hit under, and this is Spencer Strider we're about to get into, has been when they put him at a 7.5 or 8.5 at like minus 140 to minus 150. He's never fucking come close, a la the Mets last week. That was the 4th time. So maybe I will start betting unders. I just, those will be the ones I plug my nose and don't tell nobody on, right?
Yep. That's a private play.
That's a private play. So if he gets 15, I don't look like a cock. All right, guys, let's talk Spencer Strider versus the Giants, where he's striking people best in the league out 38% of the time while walking people 8% of the time. Opening line wasn't fishy, 9+ at plus 105 on DraftKings, where the best line available is to the 8.5 still. And that's on FanDuel at plus 110. PrizePicks has him at an 8.5 with his hits allowed under over 4. Projected lineup is a boatload of lefties and 2 righties. What you got on old Nick Strider?
Yep. So with the influx of lefties, then it most likely means that to get K's, Strider will use the change. He uses his slider on righties as his put away pitch. I mean, aside from his fastball, which he uses on both, but his primary put away pitch, because he only has 3 for lefties, is the change. Now you go down and you look at all the projected lefties here for the Giants, and you don't really see a whole lot of high whiff percentages or high K percentages against the changeup. Now, granted, this is against a league average changeup and all the pitchers that they face, not Spencer Strider. So you got to grade on a curve a little bit here. But when you go down the lineup and, even just taking the first few with Wade and Meckler, you have Wade here, who is at who's in the 30s for whiff percentage. That's not too bad. You have Meckler, who's in the 20s. You have a couple other guys that are in the low 20s. So if they're going to load up with lefties, then in order to get the punch outs, Strider is going to have his changeup working. Over his last few starts, it's been okay. Not like elite. It's been the slider and the fastball a little bit more. So, I'm going to wait for lineups on this one. I am very, very confident I'm not going to play this one because this one, I'm with Sharpie here. This one screams under if they load lefties because of the swing metrics and the contact metrics against the changeup, which is what Strider uses to get left-handed batters. That said, it is really, really difficult for me to bet on an under on the Giants on the road. So this is probably just going to be a pass for me. I think this line is actually set pretty well.
I mean, I think the line's set well as well, too. And Spencer Strider gets a matchup with the Giants. And when I look at their numbers over the last 15 days, it says they're walking at a nice 9.5%, guys, striking out 23.5% of the time, while being the worst team in the league when it comes to isolated power. So let's just go see who I would bet on in that time span. As I lost Tyler Glasnow's outs because he didn't have a cap on him, and he went 6 innings, 1 earned run while striking out 7. John Gray went 7 innings, 0 earned runs while striking out 7. Ohtani went 6 innings, 0 earned runs with only 5 strikeouts, where Lucas Giolito also went 6 innings, 3 earned runs while striking out 7. The other 2 guys who kicked their ass that I don't bet on is Brandon Pfadat, or I'm just going to call him Quack because I can't say his name, of the Diamondbacks. He went 7 innings, 1 run ball with 7 strikeouts. Is Dane Dunning of the Rangers went 7 innings of no run ball and struck himself out. I believe it was 12. Might have been 10, but it was just a quick glance, and then I wrote it back in because, like I said, I don't bet the guy. But maybe I start needing to be as this guy's striking a lot of motherfuckers out. And it's not every day, guys, you have 2 of the top 3 guys in the league in strikeout percentage. Seeing this same team that we have with the number 1 guy in the league in Strider, where he's getting his shot in next. As it goes, Strider 1, Glasnow 2, Ohtani 3 in K percentage, guys. And in the last 15 days, they have only scored more than 1 run on 1 right-handed starter, and that was being Giolito. And that guy gives up 3 runs in his sleep. That's just what he fucking does. So I don't even think, guys, I can bet an under on Strider when it comes to a K prop, guys. But I just can't go over today either, as, yes, the Giants aren't hitting, and that can allow Strider to be out there for 7 innings of work. And you want to step in front of fucking Strider of 7 innings of work and see if he don't get fucking 9 strikeouts?
9?
Yeah. He's getting 9 if he goes 7 innings of work. It's out there, guys. I may actually look to his walks over, guys, because that's been the detriment of him. And this team has been walking for the most part. Now, I go back through the last 30 days. Not one pitcher other than Dunning, guys, has had 9 strikeouts or more. And they have faced 2 elite strikeout pitchers in that time span. So no way can I go under. I'm just going to have to let the over go. Now, what I didn't let go is the fact that these Giants ain't fucking hitting. I think the best parlay piece of the day, you like some UFC fighter juiced out tomorrow, you want to bring him down to an even money bet. They've got his outs, guys, at 17.5 minus 190. Every pitcher in the last 15 days, whether I bet on them or don't, if they pitch from the right-handed side, has gone 6 fucking innings. Yeah. All right. Get in where you fit in. Make yourself a little 2-pick McGick. And Spencer Strider's going 6 innings today. You can book that. So when I think about this, guys, I had to get into it. I did bet a half unit on the Giants team total under 1.5, first 5 at minus 125. They haven't scored more than 1 run off of any of my guys in the last 15 days other than Giolito. And like I said, you expect Giolito to give up some runs when you bet him. That's life. This ain't Giolito. And if this guy stays in the zone today, he should have a very good day. Now, it is Atlanta, and an under can go over just like that because it's hot and the wind is blowing out. But I just got to ride the trend and everything I'm seeing, and that's these guys being dominated by right-handed pitching. Anything else to add in?
Yeah, the only other one that I think that you could look at, I don't like the price on it right now, is so Blake Sable for the Giants. So he's projected to hit 8th right now. I don't like it if he's hitting 8th, but he is a lefty. I talked about, their average and their just overall percentage versus the changeup, which is what Strider uses to get lefties. 51.7% whiff percentage and 37.5% K percentage. Over a quarter of his strikeouts are off of a changeup, and more specifically from a right-handed pitcher. He's seen 160 changeups this year, which is, I believe, third or fourth most on the team, despite not having as many at-bats. The bottom line here, guys, is look, if Blake Sabol is in the lineup, he's going to have changeups thrown against him. He's going to K against them. What I don't like is the fact that his over 1.5 strikeouts is at minus 125. For a guy to strike out twice, that's a lot for somebody batting 8th. If we can get Sabol batting 6th or higher in the lineup, I think that Strider will face him enough times that where it could be worth a small play on Blake Sabol over 1.5, because like I said, Strider's got the elite change, especially switching speeds from the 99 or 100 that he throws for his fastball. And Sabol has just been god-awful, atrocious against the changeup, specifically against righties this year. So that would be the one player prop that I would look for, but he'd have to be batting 6th or higher, and I would probably want minus 110 or better to take a shot at it. Minus 125 for a guy to strike out twice that's not even in the top 4 of the lineup. That's a tall ask. That basically means that Strider's got to strike him out every time he faces him.
Man, yeah, because he's going to see him 3 times at the bottom. He's going at least 6. They let Strider go 100. I love that.
And that's the other part.
I love they let him.
If you think Strider's going to go 6 or 7, then he'll face him 3 times. So he's only got to strike him out 2 out of 3 times. But like I said,
hey, bro, you just really like made me think
6
a lot,
or higher.
bro.
I would take a shot on it. Blake Sabol over 1.5 Ks.
I had to go look at Glasnow's pitch mix. I was like, I don't think Glasnow throws a changeup, and he don't. Glasnow does not throw a changeup. The only 2 guys who fucking hit Glasnow in this whole lineup was Sabol and fucking Conforto. So I'm gonna go look at how Conforto is versus change, and he may be a guy, guys, to look at a hitting prop today. I know we don't talk hitting props, but those were the 2 guys I was looking at. Like, ooh, they might give him a problem. Nope, Sabol ain't giving him a problem.
No, well,
yeah.
And actually, so just one last thing about Sabol, to your point, is that this year against fastballs, only a 25.7% whiff percentage and batting 306 against breaking balls, batting 156 with a 47.7% whiff percentage against off speed, which would be changeup, batting 146 with a 51.3% whiff percentage. He misses every other off-speed pitch that he's thrown, no matter who the pitcher is. So think about what Spencer Strider can do to him. But that's just one guy. And he throws a change. I know. So.
Yeah, I definitely love me some guys. So how is he versus the changeup? I'm over here looking at Conforto like, yep. All right. Let's get into the next guy on the list, guys, because it's stud day, it looks like. And we're going to talk Brandon Woodruff at the Rangers, number 19 in the black book. Career striking people out 29% of the time while walking people 6.5% of the time. Open them up 7+ minus 108 on FanDuel. We're the best line available now to the 6.5 is minus 122 on FanDuel. PrizePicks has them as a 6.5 as well, whereas pitching outs on PrizePicks are under over 17.5. Projected lineup, 6 lefties, 3 righties. Let's talk some Woodruff.
6-3. So if that's the case, if they're going to run 6 lefties, then I think you have to look at the over here. Woodruff is striking them out at a 36.4% rate this year. That's a combine. That's not home versus road because he doesn't have enough plate appearances for me to think that it's a viable metric. You go ahead and you look at Woodruff's other peripheral metrics, and you see that he's getting people to chase 34.7% of the time, which is significantly up from the MLB average of 28.4. He's also getting them to chase and not make contact, 46.7% chase contact versus 58% MLB average. Now, here's the rub, is that the Rangers are one of the better teams in the league at not chasing pitches, only a 26.5% chase rate compared to an MLB average of 29.1. Keep in mind, that's over the last 30 days, and that's with over 1,000 plate appearances, so tons of pitches. The problem here is that their chase contact is over 2% under MLB average. So the key to me for this one is going to be, can Woodruff hit his spots on his slider? and can he freeze them on his change? He's going to use his slider to get righties. He's going to use his change to try to get lefties. And specifically the slider, I was just going to say strider because we're just talking about him. The slider can run real low and real away. So if the Rangers are going to be patient, or if their lineup is what is projected right now, which I actually think it's just got confirmed. We do have 6-3, or sorry, 5-4. 6-3 because Jonah Heim's going to bat lefty. So, okay. And then on the right-handed side, you have Garver in there. I know Seager doesn't, or I know that Simeon doesn't K much, and Garcia's hit or miss, but Garver can be a strikeout too. I think you have to look over on this one. I really do.
Question before I get into my write-up. Me and you were both talking about Giolito back and forth, and we both ended up staying off Giolito versus the Rangers the other day, right? Why was that reason?
Walks.
Do you remember? No. It was Giolito, and he throws a changeup to lefties. And you were like, dude, these guys don't strike out to the changeup. You did the work that day, bro. And I remembered it. So I've got a little bit of tale of two sides. And I do lean the over here, guys, as it is a hold my beer type of spot. But if we do want to get in on this one with Woodruff at the Rangers, as the Rangers numbers are freaking elite over the last 15 days. As they're just one of the top teams in baseball by the numbers. They're walking over 1% better than league average, striking out 22% of their at-bats with an isolated power and outer space in the 200s. If we look at who they seen in that time span that I'd bet on, they got to Lucas Giolito, 6 innings, 6 earned runs, where he had only 4 strikeouts. Sandy Alcantara, 6 innings, 4 earned runs with 7 strikeouts. And those are the only 2 guys that I would bet on in that time span. And I was on Alcantara that day. And me and both Spin, like I said at the beginning of this, stayed off of Giolito the last week versus the Rangers. As Spin did some diving last week, and I remembered it. Maybe he didn't, but
I got it.
I'm going to have to refresh his memory. And he found out that a lot of these lefties just don't strike out to the changeup. And that's what Gio would have needed, guys, as he is a slider to righties, left and changeup to lefty type guys. Same exact type pitcher. Granted, I think Woodruff's on another level, but still, this is a type where I'm going to have to go one by one through the lineup and see how these lefties are versus the change, as I'm going to need some of them to be weak to get on and over versus a team where it says, hold my fucking beer, they're not striking out. As in, I do lean the over, guys. As in, the one guy who's seen him with at least more than three plate appearances is a guy who don't normally strike out, guys, and that's Corey Seager. And he is batting .375 in those 8 at-bats. But he's also struck out 3 of those times. Huh? Corey Seager striking out? Yeah. So that's a real good lefty right there, guys. So maybe the MVP of the AL if there wasn't some guy named Shohei on the Angels. So this to me is either over or just let it be, guys, as good pitching beats good hitting. And this was one of my 2 preseason bets for NL Cy Young. And granted, he was hurt for most of the year, guys, but he's been everything you can ask for the Brewers. And for me, he overtook Burns as the ace last year and is the true ace of this staff. So it's either over or not. I'm going to have to literally go, like I said, batter by batter and see how they are versus this changeup, as there's only 3 righties, as like you said with Gio's going to have to just throw a slider. He's going to have to throw a slider, and we know they're not going to do that versus lefties. You just look at how he throws it. They don't use it versus the other side. At least Woodruff don't.
Nope.
So
he doesn't.
He doesn't use his changeup versus righties, and he doesn't use his slider versus lefties. So something that I got to dig into. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, for the season so far for Woodruff, and I know he was out for a while, but he's thrown 66 total changeups, 60 of them to lefties. He's throwing 38 total sliders, 32 of them to righties. So if you go back and look at last year, those ratios, and actually the last few years, those ratios are very, very similar with what he's throwing righties and lefties for the last few years.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's something, guys, that not all. That's why I talk about we need lineups a lot, guys, because this ain't just let's go bet fucking Woodruff versus the Rangers. You got to fucking do some work. And the work says we've got to dig through the lineup and see how the lefties are versus the freaking changeup and how the righties are versus the slider. And it's that simple, but it's going to take 30 minutes. So now we get to the spot, guys, where we talked about yesterday. Yesterday, it happened to be Paul Goldschmidt. Today, we have the titty capper play of the day, guys, where it's not always a K prop. It's just one prop that everyone and their mom, including your favorite titty capper, is giving out as their best bet. And I'm talking Pablo Lopez versus the Pirates today, number 17 in the black book, striking people out at a 30% clip while walking people 6% of the time. Morning line 8+ -140 on FanDuel as it opened up and got skyrocketed to like 60s, 70s on some books, and then came back. I was like, I'm not writing down all these stupid, crazy numbers.
Yep.
And it came back down in the morning, guys, and it's still right around that -140. It's now over there on DraftKings, and PrizePicks even has them at a 7.5, which you don't see that. Hits allowed under over 5. And I mean, you don't see that on PrizePicks. It's -140 on the lowest book available. They usually bump it to the 8. So they even want you to bet some Pablo Lopez titty capper play of the day. Projected lineup is 6 righties, 3 lefties. Let's talk Pablito.
All right. Well, I texted you the second that I saw that line because it came out at about 9 or 10 Eastern last night. And I said, I guarantee you they want steam on the over for this one. I guarantee you they want steam on the over because otherwise this would have been set at an 8.5 juice to the under. So what they want is over money. They made it reasonable. It's still reasonable right now. Here's my issue is that the Pirates at the plate, their offense, obviously, over the last few months, I mean, you can make whatever comments or jokes you wish, and you're probably not far from the truth. However, the one thing they've done consistently all year and still do to this day is over the last 30 days, they are top 5 in lowest swing rate outside the zone. They only chase 26.4% of the time. Why is that important? Pablo's greatest strength as a pitcher and how he gets his strikeouts are he has a 95th percentile chase rating, 95, one of the best in the game today. And that has actually stayed pretty consistent for the majority of the year. When you go and look at his actual metrics, he's getting guys to chase 34.9% of the time, which is way up from MLB average of 28.4 for the season. When guys chase, they make contact 4% less than league average. However, when guys do swing at his stuff in the zone, 77% contact rate, which is actually pretty decent. So if you can get him in the zone, his fastball is not unhittable. What can be unhittable is the way that he changes from his fastball to his sweeper for righties, which can have a wicked break, and then his changeup to lefties. Are you hearing a familiar theme here? Righties, power righties, throwing changeups to get left-handed hitters. If you're hearing a theme, you're going to hear it again a few more times because we got a few more guys that do the same thing. Now, my issue here, number one, is how the line was set in comparison to how Pablo's innings and other props were set and how it's begging for over money. I think if you are betting this one, it's going to be really, really hard to bet the under, but this is just an over that I want no part of because of the Pirates, no matter who they put in the lineup, their lack of chase to Pablo's stuff has the potential to rack up his pitch count, and for a number this big, you got to get strikeouts, but you also got to keep your pitch count low because Rocco ain't pitching him more than 100. I guarantee you that. The Twins are on their way to the postseason right now. We're going to save innings on him every chance that we get because he's probably going to be our number 1 starter in the postseason. So thinking about it through that lens and thinking about it with the amount of favorite that the Twins are tonight, man, this is a really tough over for me to get to. I can't get there.
Oof, I think I like what Cover Kings put in the chat. I'm rolling through the chat as I'm able to do that while you talk because I'm always reading my write-ups. Yeah. And Strider 7+ Braves win is -130. Oof, you might got me sold on that one, brother, man. As once the lineups come out, I might just take the 9, bro. I mean, Yeah, I'm going to go Strider. I'm going to look at that because I was looking at Conforto. He can't hit the slider. He a righty. Or is he a lefty? So it's something I got to dig through. But yeah, definitely got to see how each person is, change up, slider. Because, I mean, it's out there, guys. There's certain guys that are octopuses that I like to call, and Alcantara and Darvish, who can use 4 or more pitches to strike you out, and they don't just go to 1. And then there's guys who's predominantly, you know what's coming. That's what they're going to use if you're a lefty. It's what you're going to use if you're a righty. Now we get to talk like what we're going to now call on this show, guys, the titty capper play of the day. And it's not always a bad thing, as you will see me on them as times at Wells, guys. It just is what it is. It's a very popular bet or look for the day. And today it's Pablo Lopez versus the Pirates, where, yeah, the Pirates are striking out near 26% of the time. And the only guy in this lineup who has seen Lopez more than 5 times is Andrew McCutchen, who struck out 5 of his 10 at bats. So, yes, I get it if you're on it. But I've got to do a little more digging before I jump on the titty capper play of the day, guys. And the projected lineup is 6 righties. Pablo is striking out righties in an elite 12K per 9 with a solid 10K per 9 versus the left-handed side, as well as Lopez is at home, whereas K per 9 does go up 1 strikeout compared to being on the road. So everything so far is looking nice. So let's go see who the Pirates have seen in the last 15 days that I would bet on. They haven't seen many guys that I would bet on. Now, they did get to Strider, and I was on that game as he was humming through 2 innings, guys, with 3 strikeouts and just fell apart. And when I made this write-up, I wasn't going to fault Strider for it. Now, I think I'm going to fucking give the Pirates credit after listening to my man spin. Quick question before I finish my write-up. Does Strider have a fucking higher chase rate than fucking Pablo? Yes. Yeah? Did Gargaro dip out? Yes. I can't hear you. You're muted.
I'm on mute. Sorry. It is Strider's chase rate. Oh yeah, 35.4. It's about.
And they don't chase out the zone because you texted me, you're like, "What happened? I'm on the golf course," and I'm like, "Bro, he was just fucking hanging sliders, and they were fucking clapping the shit out of him, bro, and they were staying off all the other shit." And
yeah, Pablo's chase rate is 33-ish, and Strider's is 35.
So there you go. It's in the papers right there, guys. This team doesn't chase, he just said, guys. They don't. Well, when they chase, they make contact, and or they don't chase. Either which way, that's not what you want. They don't chase.
They don't make contact when they do, but they just don't chase, period.
Okay, there it is, bro. And in my write-up, I was not going to fault Strider and not give the credit to the Pirates. I'm going to give the credit to the Pirates now after hearing my boy speak a little bit, guys. And I get it. I get that now, bro. I wish I would have known that shit. I would have stayed off it then. So, yes, guys, I see his Ks, guys. They just weren't there. And I get it. I get it. Now, they seen Woodruff. And they got old Woody, guys, and he got 9 strikeouts in 5 innings, as well as Burns only had 6 strikeouts in 6. But the Pirates have been a little bugaboo to Burns, and that's going back to last year, guys. And he's faced them with some gnarly K percentage numbers, and he just hasn't came close, I believe, the last 3 or 4 times versus this Pirates team. So that one I'm not going to fault them for. The one thing is, though, whether the strikeouts were there or not, guys, is they're not hitting. They're not scoring runs. 0 off of Woodruff. Silch. Only 2 runs off of Burns through 6 innings. And yes, they did get the Strider. Now, if Pablo Lopez isn't going to be in the zone and they're able to stay off, I could see them getting the Pablo as well too, guys, as he is a power pitcher with a wipeout slider. He does use that slider versus righties, a la Spencer Strider. So Spencer Strider was hanging his slider on 0-2 pitches. It's all going to come to Pablo Lopez's location today, guys. Does he throw an elite wipeout slider, or does he hang it? Or does he throw a pitch that's just nowhere in the zone and they just fucking laugh at it, guys? Because uncompetitive pitches is what Spencer Strider does like to throw. I don't understand it. I don't get it. Go up 0-2 and throw 2 wasted pitches that are nowhere near the zone. Yeah, that's a fucking great idea. Great. No, it's not, guys. So gonna have to do your due diligence on this, guys. I'm gonna have to run through the lineups and check their chase metrics, guys. And if this lineup ain't chasing, it's just an easy pass, as it is the titty capper play of the day. And like my boy said, this should be an 8.5. So they're asking for over money with getting absolutely zero under money on this today. So take it as you wish. Be careful if you're going to bet the over. I get it. I get the over, guys. It's the Pirates. It's Pablo Lopez. Pablo Lopez at home. I get it. I get it. But why are they begging you for this money, bro? Why isn't this 8.5? So take that into account. Anything else to add in?
Nope. We're good to go.
Let's get into the guy that if you got in on the under yesterday or last night, good job. Because if you want it now, they're not moving it to a 4.5. And that's Bryce Miller at the Astros, striking people out 23.5% of the time with only a 5% walk rate. Opened them up 6+ at plus 105 at DraftKings, where the best line available now is plus 125 to that 5.5 on MGM. PrizePicks has him at a 5, whereas pitching outs under over are a 16. Projected lineup is 6 righties, 3 lefties. Now that Berrios out, Singleton's in. That's been your pretty much everyday lineup of the Astros. Let's talk Miller.
All right. So Bryce Miller, interestingly enough, to me is actually a relatively easy pitcher to cap, not necessarily to project. Reason being is because, he throws fastballs well over 50% of the time. And it's the same type of four-seam fastball every time in very similar locations every time. He just throws it with really good location, and he can crank the velo up to keep hitters off balance. So when you look at the projected Astros lineup, or let's not even say projected, because Dusty uses the same lineup damn near every game. You see that the only person on the Astros who is going to play tonight that has a whiff percentage over 33 and a strikeout percentage over 30 against a four-seam fastball is Maldi.
I just said that in my head. I was like,
Maldi.
fucking Maldonado.
As soon as I started saying that, probably everybody in the chat would have been like, well, it's Maldi, of course. He'll bat ninth. For me, when I look at Miller's other pitches, he pretty much just uses his slider almost exclusively as his other put away pitch. He doesn't really have a righty lefty split yet. And when I look at the metrics for the Astros, the only one who's out of whack against the slider is Maldi, of course. But that's not why Maldi's in the game. That's why he bats ninth. He's in the game for defensive purposes, for calling games, blah, 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 blah. We know that. Now, when I look at the rest of this Astros lineup, for me, this is very, very close for me for being some kind of play on an under here. I don't see Miller on the road hitting this number. I also look at the Astros swing metrics, and while they haven't been elite over the last 30 days, they haven't certainly been bad, especially with their swinging strike rate, 10.8% compared to an average of 11.3 across the league. And their CSW, called strike plus whip, is well under average as well. I do want to run the Astros final lineup here, hitter by hitter, because what I want to make sure of is that there's not going to be enough peripheral strikeouts around Maldi, who's going to K once for sure, might K twice, to get there. So that's the only thing that I'm really doing a final check on right now.
They put Pena in the 8 hole, bro, and that's the only guy I see who struggles versus the slider off the eye test, bro. Like, come on, bro. That guy got bumped down because he couldn't hit a slider.
It's not even that bad either. He's got a 34% whiff rate, which isn't terrible, and he's got a 25.7% K rate. It's higher than at league average, but it's not horrible.
It's higher than an Astro. That's like, oh God, bro. 25? So, but I do like him down in that 8 hole, bro. That's very analytical, bro. They know, bro. But this is the best fastball hitting goddamn team in baseball over the last 3 years next to the Atlanta Braves. So, Bryce Miller, guys, he gets his second matchup with the Stros this year after back in May 7th. He went 6 innings, 0 earned runs, and punched out 5. And when I look at those lineup numbers from that day, they were not walking at a putrid 5%, yet striking out just 21.5% of their at-bats, but not hitting as well with an isolated power of just 140. Now, when I look at the overall numbers of the Astros, excuse me, as I didn't run the lineup yet, as the lineup just came out. They're now walking guys at an elite level, top of the food chain, still striking out at a 22% clip. This time they're actually hitting even worse. They're third worst in the league with a team isolated power of just 122. So at first glance, the lean was the under. And that was when it was a pick 'em each way last night. And I didn't put it in, guys. Now, nothing but the under money has come in. And it's like minus 170. And they're refusing to drop this, guys, which is telling me something that it's either getting 5 or 6, guys. And that was enough just to keep me off it from the get-go, guys. And now after I run the lineups, I'll do a little more work. But this team in May, guys, they just weren't hitting, and now they're even worse. So I don't expect to be I do expect Miller to be out there for another 6+ innings today, guys. And I don't know if I want to watch myself die in the 7th fucking inning on the 6th goddamn strikeout, guys, versus Maldonado, guys. Like, well, how did he see him 4 times? Because they're not hitting. That's how a guy goes 7 fucking innings in a game, guys. Now, it is the Astros. And like my guy said, he uses his fastball almost 64% of the time. So everything tells me, guys, that he should not get 6 strikeouts today. Other than how long I think he can be out there. As I do not have a bet in this game, because I don't want to fuck around and find out when these Astros do wake up, as I do know they are a very, very good high-velocity fastball hitting team. And they've got their studs in, guys. So it's going to be a tough under, I think, guys, because how long this man goes out there. And I don't know what's just keeping my baby nuts from just betting his outs at 16, as I think he's going to be out there 6 fucking innings again, guys. But it's just something in my gut tells me that if they wake up, it's versus a guy who throws a fucking fastball 64% of the time. And I wouldn't be surprised if they finally go out there and do what they've done for the most part, guys, and that's rate guys who throws fastballs. So, guys, I'm going to need him, guys, to go 6 to even have a shot at 6, guys, and wouldn't be surprised to see a 7-inning, 3-strikeout type of game. Like, I just don't want to fuck around and find out, guys, as like he said about the whiff. That's the way to bet him. And this team don't fucking whiff, guys. And it's either under or nothing. I just haven't got there because I think he may be out there so long that he ends up cooking me. So maybe just on a long shot parlay with all the type of juice it's on, you can look towards the under. But I couldn't bet the over, I'll tell you that. I just there's something in the under in my stomach, bro. Like
it's not an option for me.
It wasn't as easy as I thought it was gonna be when I at first looked at it. You know, I was just like,
not an option.
They're just not hitting right now, bro. And that's the one dead thing. Watch this dude go 9 innings and get you for 6. Like, oh, you fucking quacks. Now, another thing that I would have to go look in before I play his outs is he a ground ball pitcher? Because if he is, I'll be on his outs today, guys. That dead simple. We know about Houston. We know what they do to their infield. They soak it. They soak it with so much damn water that a 105-mile-per-hour ball off the bat gets slowed down to 99. And that turns a double play, and that gets you the out when needed. So if he's a ground ball pitcher, which I haven't done that look at yet, guys, I'll look at the games he's had his best games. If there's a lot of ground balls in it, I'll be on his outs today, guys, because I do expect him, by the numbers, to go out there and at least be out there 6 innings, even though, like, this gut tells me, like, if they wake up, all right, so be it, bro. I get it, bro.
So Miller, 31.7% ground ball percentage compared to an MLB average of 44.7.
Trash. Can't get it. Can't get it. This may be the game they hit him.
So he is not a ground ball pitcher at all.
Then it's the unders on his case, bro. 32 the unders on his case today, guys. Yeah. Find a way to parlay that minus 170. Then you do not want to be a fly ball pitcher to this fastball hitting team in Houston.
32% fly ball compared to an MLB average of 23.4.
Oof. All right, there you go. You had it, dude. We're just having fun. We're actually like going into the breakdowns afterwards today, bro. It's great. It's great when you tell me you don't have a meeting afterwards.
I have nothing. I'm good.
All right.
Yeah.
guys, before we get into them, guys, because it is the best game, and you already know about that. Vince Scully's beautiful voice is going to bless you before we get into this game, because you know what time it is.
It's time for Dodger Baseball.
We cleaned up on Dodger Baseball last night, fellas. We hit us that Burnsy 7+ strikeouts that we had to get in at the last minute, as we talked about it, guys. Yesterday, we talked about, I was like, this may be a day they're going to give Will Smith off. This would be a day, we just won 2 of the first. The series is fine. We don't have an off day. Struggles versus him. Yeah, give Will Smith the day off. And they did. So I was like, all right, bro, Will Smith, he was going to strike out. And then they scratched JD Martinez. And Will Smith got interjected into that lineup and struck out his first 2 at-bats. Thank you, Fakin, very much. And that Burns K prop was very easy. The bigger bet, though, was on the under 8.5, as we gave that out on Twitter, talked about it on the show once we were waiting. Easy, but I told you both those dudes were fucking shoving. And Fat Lance ain't Fat Lance no more, fellas. He just ain't. So let's talk Sandy Alcantara now at my Dodgers. Number 43 in the black book, striking people out at a 21% clip, while walking people 5.2% of the time. Open them up 6+ at +108 on FanDuel, to where the best line available to that 5.5 is at +106 on BetMGM. PrizePicks has them at a 5.5, whereas hits, earned runs, and outs are not available on PrizePicks. Projected lineup for my boys in blue is 5 lefties, 4 righties. Let's talk to Sandy, man.
All right. So I'll keep this one real brief for my actual like thoughts on the prop. No real take on this one for me. I would lean the under here, just because of a lot of the Dodgers hitting metrics. They've been just absolutely phenomenal, especially with chase. 25.8% chase rate compared to 29.1% average the last 30 days. And that's even seeing pitchers like in that period of time, like Blake Snell, like Corbin Burns. I know they struck out 7 times, but still the point remains, not chasing that much. My problem here is that if I am going to bet an under, Sandy's projected plate appearances, he faces 27, almost 28 batters on the regular. He's projected to face between 26 and 27 tonight. That's a lot of opportunities to get a strikeout. So this is probably going to be one where I might look to play it a few different ways, but strikeout's not one of them.
This may be one that I have to get in, and I mean, putting my record on the line versus these Dodgers, bro.
Dodgers against Velo, is that what you're doing?
I don't know if I'm gonna do it, bro. But it's been my key, bro. And then we're gonna talk about it, guys. We're gonna end the day talking the Sandy man at my Dodgers, and we know that the Dodgers numbers are pretty much always gonna say no to a K prop versus a right-handed pitcher. But as like we said, guys, I told Team Sharpie, we have to get on Burns yesterday versus these same boys who don't strike out, guys, as there is a time and place for everything. As Burns does have the key I asked for. And then the lineup change from Martinez to Smith, who we said on this show, would be an awesome day to give him off. And they did. Until old JD got scratched. Then we got in as Smith struck out 2 of his bats. So the question here is, does Sandy have the key? Duh. The answer is yes. Now, the key has been a guy who has high velocity and isn't afraid to use it. Now, there's an issue with just straight running Sandy with the Dodgers with a key, because Sandy has his own key for me, guys. And now that's the problem. And if I get both these keys to fucking match up, it's going to be a ginormous type bet today, guys, because it's very rare where you have a key for one team and a key for a pitcher, and they both will unlock a goddamn door. And the reason why I haven't got into it yet is I need the lineups, guys. With the Dodgers, you could pretty much project the top 5, but it can be sprinkled in throughout the bottom 9, guys, as in we're a very analytical team. We notice when guys struggle, we give them days off versus those teams. It's just we're a good baseball team, guys, from fucking minor leagues to the freaking offices to the freaking front staff, guys, to the guys out there in the dugout, guys. We're just good. So The end of the day, guys, the key for Sandy, guys, is what I learned a while back, and we talked about it earlier, is him being a damn octopus. And he uses 4 pitches equally to strike people out. Now, you don't want to take strike 1 versus a guy who's top 5 in the league at first strike percentage and who uses 4 different pitches equally. You just don't want to put yourself behind an 8 ball like that. And since I've learned that with Alcantara and Darvish, it's fucking the money in the bank, bro. It's as I never look to use it. I never look to go bet a guy like that. But if I find out it works, you fucking right, I'm going to run it, guys. And since I found out about those 2 guys using that and guys with those type, it's a fucking system that's working, guys. So this guy faced this team 2 times last year. He got waxed the first time, didn't make it 4 innings, still had 5 strikeouts. High velo, baby. Then he faced them in a back-to-back like Burns did, guys. And he had 10 strikeouts. Burns seen him on a back-to-back. Alcantara seen him on a back-to-back. He went 9 innings with those 10 strikeouts. Like I just talked about all the opportunities this man is going to have out there today, guys. And let me talk to you. My Dodgers, if you look at it, haven't lost 1 game in August. And it looks like they're crushing the dog piss out of everybody. And we are for the most part, but we've seen a whole lot of lefties. We're not hitting right-handed pitchers, guys. And I talked about that with Burns last night. As in the same back-to-back that our boy Alcantara seen him in. My Dodgers last year had an ISO through the freaking outer space in the 2 to 240s when he faced them. Their projected lineup is below 140 right now in isolated power, guys. And if you give me that lineup, I thought I was going to want to run the Dodgers team total under today, guys. But then I said, oh, man, Sandy could be out there 7 to 9 innings. He can give up a 3 spot in the first and settle on in and still go 7 innings.
Yep.
I was like, maybe it's his outs, guys, as I do think this guy goes super deep today. And they have it at 19.5. It's not like no super low number. It's saying he's got to go 7. And that's a whole lot. That's asking a whole lot. And I think that's the way that once the lineups come out, if they're not hitting, that's the way I'm going to attack it. As the top 5 guys in this projected lineup, 4 of them have seen Alcantara, guys, in a combined 67 at-bats with less than an 18% strikeout percentage in their career versus the Sandy man. So let me tell you, I don't even got to look to tell you that Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Smith, 2 out of 3 of those guys swing at first pitch. I can just tell you that by the numbers off of what they're hitting off of Sandy. So, I'm going to have to look at the first pitch strike percentage for my Dodgers of the lineup, guys, because that's the key with the Sandy man. You're going to have to give me at least 5 people who take first pitches, as I do expect him to be out there at least 6 to 9 innings today. So it's either going to be his outs over for me or his strikeouts over, as I will be on the Sandy man today. The Dodgers just ain't the Dodgers. And the Sandy man has gone 8 innings or more in 3 of his last 4 games. He's back being the guy that we once knew as Iron Man. So, yeah, got to look to back Sandy man. I don't know if it's the day to try to pick Sandy man to win. I'll tell you what, I tell people don't be the guy to catch a falling knife. My Dodgers have lost 1 fucking game in August. Do you really want to be the guy who picks them when they're going to lose? Did you pick them again last night? Because I said that may be the time they lose, but no. You got to find other ways to bet a guy if you think they're going to win right now. Because this team hasn't fucking lost but 1 time in the month of August. Don't be the jackass that keeps betting them, guys. Find other ways to bet against them. We went under yesterday. I'm not trying to pick when the fuck they're going to. Now, I think this would be the day Gonsolin does get hit. If someone was to hit him, would be this Marlins team. There's some scrappy at-bats through that lineup. But at the end of the day, I could still see 3 runs from fucking Sandy in a great game. It's just baseball, guys. To ask a guy to be perfect is insane. And I just can't do that. So I will be on Sandy man one way or the other. I just need the lineups to tell me how I bet it. Anything else?
Yeah, just some first strike percentage numbers like you were talking about. More strikeout percentage. It's actually very similar for both Alcantara and the Dodgers, you're sitting at about 28% when they go down 0-1. That's actually been consistent for both teams across the entire season. So basically you can figure however many guys are going to get strike one will strike out approximately 28% of the time. The other thing I want to talk about was I think it was Cover Kings put that Bailey was in for Sable in the lineup, so Sable's prop isn't there anymore. And I saw Bailey has a high K percentage versus right-handed pitching. Very true. However, what he does not have is a K percentage against the changeup. If he's batting switch hitting, if he's batting switch, chances are good he's going to hit lefty. So he has a 15.2% K percentage against the changeup this year. And only a 16.1% put away percentage. Those are exceptional.
Elite. That's elite.
That's elite. Now, if you're looking at the slider, let's just say he bats right-handed. I don't know if he would.
No, they won't. No switch hitter is going to not hit from the switch. Yeah. You're a switch.
I'm just saying, against the slider, 30.5% whiff percentage. That's right about average.
All right. Now, this is the time where I try to read through this and see who's dropped in their best bet. So it may take me a little second or two while I look for it and all. But, of course, Justin's popping in with his best bet. Mark Canha over 1.5 bases at plus 175. And, of course, Sam Colner gave us the first set money line on Manarino and tennis today. Excuse me. At plus 230. And I hear everybody in the chat, guys, talking about Zverev, this, Zverev. Sam does his homework. He knows Zverev 7-0. I'll tell you that much. He knows that. I didn't know it, but someone in the chat did pop it in there. And I'll tell you, he ain't giving us bets without doing his homework. I'll tell you that much. So I appreciate all the extra advice, though. So we are looking at some more best bets out here, as in, Cover King's talking about Striders on Fanatics is minus 250 for his outs. Still a good parlay piece. I mean, even minus 190 isn't a straight bet for me, bro. Like, I ain't got deep pockets. Maybe Billy Brez, the Juice King himself, but that ain't for old Sharp Cleta. Actually, now I'm gonna have to go call Billy and tell him to bet the minus 190 today.
I might have been a little hard on Cover Kings there, but he came in with a little step. He came in with a little step ladder. I just had to let him realize it's just a little baby ladder.
Hey, Big Show says the same thing to me when I've said that, dude. So it is what it is. I say, hey, Big Show, I got a ladder today. He's like, Yahoo. And I'm like, 5.5, 6.5. And he goes, that ain't a fucking ladder, Sharpie. I'm like, he's like, that's a fucking step stool. Hey, Big Show's the man who first told me about ladders. I didn't even know you could pull people up, really. I didn't look for it. And he goes, Sharpie, I bet for fucking greatness.
We bet greatness, baby.
I don't got the bankroll to be dropping big bets on a 5.5. I'm trying to hit the 8, 9, 10, 11. Give me the monies. But, hey, I like step ladders, too. Step ladders cash a lot easier than a ginormous ladder. So, yeah. But speaking of the ladder on Strider up to 10, he's hit it 7.5, 8.5, 9.5, all 80%. So to back that, if he gets 8.5, he tends to get 9.5.
True.
So not a bad look, actually. When I set his lines last night, I did all of them, and I was like, okay, we're getting an 8.5. But it told me if he hits it, he hits it. So I don't hate the little baby step stool. So any other best bets in here, as LJ's coming in with the Corey Seager over 1.5 bases plus 104, 12-2 to the over 1.5 his last 14 games, coming off of a no-hit game. And let me tell you guys, he only runs Corey Seager props at home. That means Corey Seager is at home. So he is batting 375 off of Woodruff as well in 8 at-bats. As well, that might be worth an RBI spot look too, guys. So if it's at the plus 145, that's the value range that Mike has told us that hits, and it has been hitting on the guys that I like and find. And I'm like, yeah. So appreciate everybody else who's dropped in their best bets. If I didn't mention you, I skipped through it and missed it. It meant, no disrespect to anybody, but let's just keep this train rolling, guys, as we've been hotter than fish grease, as some like to say, guys, and let's just keep it that way. I do got the original tweet out on Twitter, guys. If we get 100 likes and retweets, I will do a Saturday show as well and do a live stream after Jose's show because I'm not trying to bump heads with none of my people here at Pub Sports, guys. At the end of the day, I just want us all to make a little monies, guys. So smash the freaking like button if you haven't. Spin Doc, tell them where they could find you, what you got going on.
Yeah, for sure. So at Spin Doc Sports, you can find me there. I will have at least one free play tonight coming up, running some final lineup numbers. And the only other thing, I said this on Monday for those that listen to Jose's show, but I've said it on this show before too, but the charity or the charity foundation, 100% nonprofit that we have for my mom who passed away from ALS in 2019. We had a charity golf tournament. So there were a lot of people in here that shared posts, that shared chat. Some people donated just to get the word out. And so we did raise $6,000. All of that money is being donated to families who have loved ones with ALS so they can pay for somebody to come take care of them. So everybody that donated, shared, liked posts that I made about it. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Nothing to do with gambling, but it's a cause that's way more important to me.
Hey, bro, family should be more important than anybody than gambling. If not, bro, you need to go see help, bro, at the end of the day, bro.
Well, $6,000 we raised. So thank you to everybody.
Appreciate it, man. Whoop, whoop. If you guys don't know, guys, you should already know. But before I don't, someone did drop in their best bet at the end, and it had plus funnies. How do I not call out that Rangers minus 1.5 at plus 165 by our boy EQ? This show is sponsored by PrizePicks. If you haven't, go on over there and use that promo code PubSports, and you're going to get a match deposit up to 100, minimum of 25 on your first deposit. Until next time, do us a favor, guys. Go tell your best friend about the best damn prop show on God's green earth. And if you got a BBW friend, have them DM me. Until next time, this show is produced by Big Show Picks and on Pub Sports Radio. Our special guest today was Spin Doc Sports. Some say we be pubbing. I say unders we be.
Keep firing, assholes!
Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's Mills here. Pub Sports Radio. Do you guys want to challenge the personalities here at Pub Sports Radio? Do you guys think you're better than them at entering in your MMA predictions and picks? Would you want to get paid for it? $100? Here's how you do it, man. You sign up right here at the link below. It's just this easy. PubSportsRadio.com. Enter your email. Pick your weekly picks. That's it. Oh, and you get bonus